Welcome to today's episode of the FrugalFitMom podcast. Today we are tackling another budget breakdown. This is where you guys submit your personal budgets and I go over them with the help of my spouse of 20 years, Dave. So he will be in this episode as well. At the moment, I'm not currently accepting new submissions because I have so many to go through. And I wanted to kick off today's episode with an update from a previous episode, which I'm very excited about. This episode was the family with the stay-at-home mom of 6 children. So she sent me this DM on Instagram just a few days ago. I've listened to the budget breakdown probably 20 times, and I'm excited to share that they now have a 6-month emergency fund plus some extra savings right now. It's fantastic. I know, I was so excited. She shared her gratitude for us doing the budget. It was awesome to hear that they were doing well because she just feels like other people are doing better because everybody has nice things, nicer things than them, which I think can be really difficult when you talk about finances because finances is not always showy. Like having control of your money doesn't look a certain way. I don't know how to say that better or worse than that.
There's a whole episode on this.
Yeah, I feel like there's an entire episode on what doing well with your money looks like and doesn't look like. But when you see other people driving really nice cars and they take nice vacations and maybe they have the purse and the jewelry and whatever it is, that doesn't mean that they have all their savings set up, and it doesn't mean their retirement's on track, and it doesn't mean their kids are doing activities that doesn't feel stressful to you and your finances. That's not what that means. So sometimes when you're doing things really smart with your money, it doesn't look flashy. I think it's really important to say, to recognize. She finishes her message with being debt-free is hard, but knowing if we needed to replace a vehicle or if something breaks, it doesn't break us, that's worth it. So well said, very excited for the update on that family. So if I do happen to do your budget, I would love to hear an update after the fact and after you've made some changes. I know the audience would like to hear it as well. Okay. Before we continue, I have a question. Have you ever wondered why laundry detergent comes in these huge plastic jugs? They're heavy, awkward. I don't think they get recycled very often. And it takes me forever to organize my laundry room because there's these huge containers everywhere. So here's what I did. You guys, I switched to Earth Breeze a few months ago. My new Earth Breeze laundry detergent Eco Sheets, they look like dryer sheets, but they are not. It's a liquidless laundry detergent that dissolves 100% in any wash cycle, hot water, cold water, no matter what you like to use. You just toss the sheet in and it dissolves right away. The packaging is lightweight, biodegradable, plastic-free. I even ripped up my packaging and buried it in my garden in my backyard. They're great for people with sensitive skin and sensitive noses because they are hypoallergenic and dermatologist tested. And in case you're wondering if they're compatible with high efficiency washers and dryers, they are. I use front loaders and they worked perfectly. The most important thing is that you still get a great clean. Earth Breeze is tough on stains, they fight odors, and your clothes come out clean every single time. But don't just take my word for it, you can try it yourself. With their risk-free 100% satisfaction guarantee, if you don't like it, Earth Breeze will give you a full refund. No questions asked, no return necessary. So switch from the old-fashioned goo to something new. Right now, my listeners can subscribe to Earth Breeze and save 40%. Go to earthbreeze.com/FFM to get started. That's earthbreeze.com/FFM for 40% off. earthbreeze.com/FFM. Thank you to Earth Breeze for sponsoring today's podcast. You can listen to this podcast anywhere that you listen to podcasts, or you can watch the video version on YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed or become a follower or any of that, I would encourage you to do so you don't miss future episodes when I post them. And I think the video version of the budgets is super helpful because you can see all the numbers on a board. It's just FrugalFitMom Podcast on YouTube. It's super not creative name, but there it is. Okay, I want to introduce my husband Dave. Is coming in to join me on today's episode. Come on down. Okay, so I have all the numbers on the board behind me. We'll get into that in a second. Quick story on this family.
Okay.
We have a husband and wife and 2 children. The children are 14 and 15 and very involved in activities. They live in Texas.
All right.
Gig 'em and God bless. He has started a home building business.
Okay,
he is a home builder. He has started his own business. So awesome. I'm loving that. I'm here for it. She is working for him as the bookkeeper, doing all the books.
Okay.
So this is like family business situation, which I love. Let's talk about dividing personal and business income. or bills or whatever it is. Personal and business money has to be separated. And as we go over this budget, you will be able to see that they are not separated as well as we would like. So let's hit it.
Why do you think they have to be separated?
It's too messy. First of all, for taxes, when you're like, okay, my work car is out of my personal account, but then I submit these forms for my taxes for my business. As someone who runs the budget, which is myself, I run the budget. I do the personal, I do the business. It is cleaner. It's more stress-free.
It's
more
easy.
Stress-free? That's an oxymoron, isn't it?
There's less stress involved.
Much less stress involved. It's easy to read. It's easy to look at.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it's cleaner as far as taxes go.
It's the simplicity and the tracking.
Yes, absolutely. I would encourage anyone that runs a business, keep your business money separate from your personal money. They are not the same.
At least that's how we've done it, and we've seen it work. We've never tried to like mix it all together.
That's because everyone I know that runs a business does not mix it.
Okay.
Any business owner would tell you that. Here we go. This is the first problem. Are you ready?
Yeah.
They don't pull an income from the business.
Okay.
None. They pull an owner's draw when they need to pay bills, which leads to overspending because they don't have any money to budget with.
How do you know when the business is doing well?
Exactly. So from the beginning, it's messy.
Okay.
My tip number one is they have to pull a salary. Now they can divvy it. They can do owner's salary plus distributions. They can do owner's salary, which can be smaller, plus owner draw, which you just pay your taxes later. But
Right.
there's ways around this. You have to have a set dollar amount that you are pulling from the business every month. You cannot survive if you don't do this.
Even if it's only like $10.
But they need more than that.
I know.
But
I'm
yes,
being funny.
you have to do that. Okay, that's number one.
Okay.
Okay, let's go down to bills.
There's a lot of bills missing.
Let's do that second. Let's
Okay.
go over the bills that are here. House, $1,700 a month.
Okay.
Sounds fine to me. The balance is 200 grand.
Yeah.
Sounds fine to me.
Reasonable.
Yeah. Car is a whopping $663 a month, which feels like a knife in my heart.
Wow.
However, the balance is only $5,000, so I'll allow it.
The balance is $5,000 and they're paying $600 a month?
Mm-hmm.
That car should be paid off by the end of the year.
It should be. We don't know what this interest rate is, but I hope so.
I would hope so.
Even doing nothing, this should be gone in a year.
Yeah.
And don't buy a new car. Like, just keep it. Just keep it for a while. I don't know if people know this, but you can actually keep your car for a really long time. Do people know that?
Listen, I don't even want to get into it because the last time we went into this, people still in the comments were like, but you need a reliable car. That's a bunch of hogwash.
No,
people say.
It's not hogwash. A reliable car is valid. They say the only reliable car is a new car, which is hogwash.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. You can have a 10-year-old reliable car. You can have a 20-year-old reliable car.
I'm saying a lot of people use this reliable car as an excuse.
Correct. They
to
do.
say, oh, I need this extra thing.
You're right. You can have an old car and have it be perfectly reliable and safe.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Next one down, work truck, $815. Listen, I haven't had a car payment in a long time.
It's a lot.
That feels astronomical. I'm probably out of touch because I don't do car payments. I just want to know what the car costs.
Yeah.
Just give me the bill of the car. That's what I want to know.
How many of these budgets have we done? And that would feed 2 families.
That would feed 2 families. Also, this is work truck, so I'm going to switch this right now. Work truck does not go under personal.
No, it should be an absolute business expense.
Work truck is business expense. So I am now taking $815 out of their monthly bills and I'm putting it into the business bills.
So here in the left side, in the blue side, we're trying to make this only family expenses.
Work truck, go bye-bye.
Okay.
Okay. Next one down is utilities. She lumped everything together at $715 for utilities. They're in Texas, think AC. Electric AC. Okay, this actually does kind of make sense because we've lived in Texas. We've had electric AC. It doesn't work very well and it's very expensive. So I suspect this is accurate.
Yeah, okay.
$715. This is probably like water, electric, maybe something else, maybe natural gas if they do gas stove or whatever. Food coming down, this is essentially for 4 adults, 600 doll hairs. You know.
It's a little on the high side, but we're not, like, this is not the problem still.
No, the food bill is not the problem, and I don't think it's out of line.
Yeah.
This feels okay to me. One down, we have restaurant at $180 a month. What does that look like?
That's like 3 date nights.
Let's say all 4 of them go out for pizza, like a sit-down pizza joint.
Okay.
Like twice. What is that? $90 twice a month. That's probably close to what that costs.
Yeah. Once again, this is why eating out sucks. Second of all, that's not being crazy. Like, they're not going out to eat every night.
No, you're absolutely right. This is not fast food every day. This is not going out to eat 3-4 nights a week.
No.
This is fairly conservative. If we're really worried, this can easily be cut.
For sure.
We could cut this all day long.
Once again,
if she's stressed.
I don't think we've gotten to the real problem.
No, that's not the real problem. Okay, one more down. Meds is $300 a month. This feels really high to me. Let me explain myself. Especially as a family that owns a business and does not pull a salary on the marketplace for health insurance, you qualify for $0 in the marketplace, which pays for your meds. So I would question the health insurance situation here. This should not be here.
Yeah.
Like, even if you're doing a copay for prescription meds, this should be much less than it is. So I'm looking into the health insurance on the marketplace stat.
For sure.
Because you're not pulling an income, which means like you get free health insurance is what that means.
So we just need to get informed. Mm-hmm. We need to figure out what's out there, take advantage of the programs and the services to cut that.
And I don't know what meds or how often, but I'm saying you could probably cut that in half overnight by looking into this a little bit more. I'm cutting it to $150 because I don't know what the copays are going to look like.
Sure.
Okay. Next one down is Christmas and birthday savings. We have $280 a month. First of all, I like the sinking fund idea. Number 2.
Was that about $3,000 a year?
That's pretty high for the year. So let's just...
But that's all Christmas and birthdays.
Mm-hmm. Oops. You don't divide that to get your answer. You multiply it. I don't know if you knew that. This is how calculators work. It's $3,360.
Okay.
Let's divide that by 4 people because there's 4 people in the family. That's $840 per person for their Christmas and their birthday presents. So if you cut that in half, you're spending $420 on everyone's birthday, and you're spending $420 on everyone's Christmas presents. That feels really high. I do Christmas and birthdays differently. So may just be my personal opinion. That feels real extravagant.
It depends.
On?
What they're trying to buy, the types of things they're trying to buy. Is it vacations, right? Because you could spend $480 a person on vacations in a heartbeat.
Remember the fact that they don't pull an income here? I feel like this is very high for the situation they're in currently.
Right, because we don't know what the income is. If their income was to show $10,000 a month, that would be nothing.
Yeah, I wouldn't care, but they're not pulling an income. They're pulling owner's draws to pay bills and then overspending on a credit card. So you could say this is a problem.
Okay, let's just asterisk that one and then let's come back to it. Because I still think there's a bigger problem here.
Do you remember that Raymond episode where he can't pronounce asterisk? Every time I hear that word, I think about that Raymond episode where he's on TV and he can't pronounce it correctly.
Yeah.
Anyway, side note. Okay, moving down, we have a line item for cat.
Okay.
$125 a month for cat. I don't own a cat. I don't know what cats cost. So I really couldn't say. I have no idea.
Okay, let's just move on.
I'm moving on. Car gas, $700 a month. I suspect this is 99% the work truck.
I was going to say the same thing.
So I'm moving car gas to business expense.
Or at least 500 of it.
No, all of it. They both work for the business.
Oh, that's true.
They both work. I'm moving all of it. All $700. And then the last line item I have is their credit card. I don't have a monthly payment, but their balance is only $1,700. That's not bad.
Right, they could get that paid off quickly.
Just stop using it. That's the caveat I just want to say right there. Stop using the credit card and pay it off. Okay, these are the bills. We've taken some out and moved them to the business expense. So currently the business expense with my changes is the business pays for internet and cell phones already. So don't worry about that. And we've moved work truck and car gas over to business as well.
So their monthly expenses were almost $6,100 a month. Mm-hmm. And we subtracted about, was that 14, 15?
Yeah, just by moving the work items, I've dropped their monthly expenses down to $45.60. $4,560. Those are the expenses as they sit.
So their family expenses are $4,500.
Correct, like to sustain what is listed here.
And we would like to cut a couple things off of that, but we can't talk about that yet because I think there's still a bigger problem.
Dave, please tell me what you think the bigger problem is.
It's all of the things that are missing on the budget.
You are so right. You're a smart man.
Well, you told me what they were.
This is a very incomplete budget. Let's go over some line items that should be here that are not. Kids' activities. She did state that these kids were very active in kids' activities, and at 14 and 15, these are not cheap anymore.
Right.
Like, so, I don't know if it's gymnastics, music lessons, travel sports, choir, band, whatever. Nothing that kids do at 14 and 15 is cheap.
So this is potentially a couple $100 a month easily.
Easily. So let's write $200 a month in kids' activities because I don't feel that that's unreasonable.
Okay.
Because I have 4 teenagers myself.
Yeah.
And I know what it costs. Next up, there's no savings listed in here at all other than Christmas and birthdays. None.
Do we know how old this couple is? Because as we start talking about retirement, we need to know, are they in their 30s or 40s?
I have no idea. I'm going to guess minimum 35.
Okay.
35 or older, but I don't actually know.
So they need to really start to think about retirement, or if they're not yet.
Yeah, so savings and retirement. The great news is with your own business, you can put together a business 401k and be in total control of the matching and contributions. It's really beneficial for business owners.
Right.
So I would look at that, and it lowers your tax burden from both sides, personal and business. Just as a starting point, even if it's as low as, I don't know, $200 a month, just to get you used to doing it. Okay? And since they're not pulling an income from the business anyway, like we haven't even created an amount for them to actually pull from the business yet. We're just kind of putting together a realistic budget. As far as savings go, like what kinds of things would you need to save for routinely?
Well, I would say home
maintenance.
Home maintenance is a big one.
Sure, yeah. The recommended amount is, I believe, 1 to 3% of your home value.
And listen, coming from two people that just ended up having to put in a new furnace.
That's way more than 1%.
It was way more than 1%.
When your furnace blows up, here are things that have actually happened to us that we've had to fix.
In the last 5 years.
In the last 5 years. Our dishwasher caught fire. Literally caught fire. Our washing machine decided to quit. The motor burned out and quit. So it was a new washing machine. Guess what just happened? This is great. Our 16-year-old son drove through our fence. He drove the car through the fence. Guess who has to replace a fence gate?
Yeah, let's not talk about that one.
The good news is we have video of Andrew's face. I was out of town, so Dave recorded it and sent me this video.
It was great.
It was great. You know what? Here's what I have to say. Most teenagers have some kind of wreck or car situation.
Learning opportunity.
And I would much rather it be my fence than another car.
Yeah.
So it was quite eye-opening for him. Anyway.
Hot water heater?
Oh yeah, the water heater died.
I had to put a hot water heater in.
Yep.
Furnace.
The furnace was the most expensive. We had a hailstorm a few years ago, replaced the roof.
Microwave.
We've had to replace that dang microwave twice now.
Yeah.
Did you know the microwaves really only last 4 years now? It is awful. Anyway, you gotta save money for your house. At a bare minimum, $100 a month. Don't you think? Bare minimum.
Yeah.
Our roof replacement, we only had to pay $1,000. That was our deductible, but you have to pay $1,000 to replace a roof. Anyway.
You have to have just that cash sitting there ready to go.
Yes, or otherwise you bust out the credit card or you have to finance something, and that's not what you want to do when you're trying to get your finances in order.
Well, the goal is we're trying to save for those things beforehand and not use the credit card.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
You're trying to self-finance the credit instead of paying for it after the fact.
I also want to mention there is a stress level that goes away because we've had situations where something has broken and it's been like, it's suffocating.
Right.
To think about how much is this going to cost me? Oh my gosh, how much is this going to set me back? What am I going to have to cut? Am I going to have to use a credit card? Versus when our dishwasher blew up.
I still
No, it caught fire.
You can't say that without me laughing because it was so funny.
It was really comical. Even in the moment.
The entire computer panel shorted out, started smoking.
It was an electrical fire.
Electrical fire. You pull it open, and because the computer burned out,
right.
The dishwasher's still going and spitting water all over the kitchen.
The water's going everywhere, so water shoots everywhere. You close it, and when we closed it, it started smoking again. So So we opened it, and then water would shoot we couldn't,
We had to-
ran and shut the breaker
We had to
off.
flip off the breaker.
But the best part is we were doing a cooking demonstration to a bunch of 13-year-old boys.
Yes, we were.
So about 20 13-year-old boys witnessed that event. It was quite funny. Anyway, the point was we had a good savings account when the dishwasher caught fire. So I was able to just go buy a new dishwasher without that, like my chest is closing in feeling.
Yeah.
And there is really something to be said for that.
So I'm trying to figure out how other people do it. And I think it is, they just pull out the credit card.
Probably.
And then they may try to adjust their budget after the fact so that they can work in the credit card payment potentially. All of that goes away when you just save up front and you have an emergency fund for these types of things.
Exactly.
And the confidence that comes from it is awesome. I can't even describe how, like you've described it as a warm blanket.
Yes, it's like a warm, cozy blanket, like giving you hugs and giving you good feelings, all good feelings.
That's probably the way it is for you. For me as a guy, it's confidence that like when our family has a problem, I can just give the money and nothing has to change.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a great way of being like, don't worry, I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Next one down is I have clothing on here. With 2 teenagers, clothing should be a line item.
It really should be. I mean, we've got teenagers now that need new clothes every 3 months because they're growing so fast.
Andrew, I'm putting $100 under clothing, which
I think that's a really good number to have.
I feel like it's still low, but maybe they have access to better thrift stores than we do. I don't push thrift stores a ton, mostly because of where I live.
Yeah.
I live in a very child-heavy area, and so by the time they get donated, everything is already destroyed.
Listen, $100 is like a pair and a half of jeans these days.
If you buy them new, yeah. Like if you live in a good place, listen, Texas has great thrift stores.
Yes.
So I bet they could find better stuff. And
2 pairs of jeans.
And I don't know where in Texas they are, but if they're in the Dallas area, if you went to one of those like huge garage sales that like Frisco neighborhoods put on, you can get some sweet deals.
Yeah.
You just got to go to the rich neighborhoods, that's all. There's no insurance on here. There's no car insurance, there's no life insurance, there's no insurance.
Now, the car insurance could be paid by the business.
Yes, and I'm going to add car insurance to the business list, but they need life insurance yesterday.
Heads up though, if they do that, business car insurance
It's very expensive. by the
crazy
way.
expensive.
Very expensive. It's like 4 times what you would pay for personal.
Yeah.
So that's your choice to make. But they need life insurance, especially as they have no other forms of income except this business.
Yeah.
If something happens to him,
Go get some term life insurance, cover yourself in case something happens.
so I'm going to add, I don't know their health situation, but let's say life
150?
insurance. Oh, way less, way less. We pay like 45 for you and like 35 for me. For a lot.
No, 100.
Is it?
You're at 80.
All right, let's do 100.
I'm rounding up.
And that would be high. That would be like 700,000 to $1 million each.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that high. It could be lower. I noticed there's no item for any entertainment at all. No streaming services, which seems real unlikely
Right.
in today's world. No movie tickets. No, like the girls want to run to get the froyo, right?
Right. It's just, I don't know, what would you got on there? An extra 50?
$50 for that. And I also see there's no household items on here. Toilet paper, laundry soap, shampoo, conditioner, razors.
Yeah, they just need to cover some of the basics.
So I like $100 a month for that. I feel like that's pretty reasonable.
You just add an extra like $850 to this.
Let's add this up. So with all of these line items that I felt were missing out of the budget, we have added $850 of expenses to their monthly budget. That is no small chunk of change. So their monthly minimum expenses after taking the business items out and adding back in some line items is $5,413. That's what they need minimum to support this budget as it sits.
Now we've gotten into a pretty good chunk of change.
Yes.
That's a pretty high monthly cost.
Especially for a family that's not pulling a salary.
So what do?
You have to pull a minimum of $5,413
Okay.
from the business as an owner's salary. And please talk to your tax planner as far as breaking that down in between. I don't know how your business is set up. If it's an S-corp, you could do salary plus owner distributions. If it's an LLC, you could do salary plus owner draws and split it, but it has to be a set amount every month. If your business does really well, you can give yourself a bonus, okay? We can do extra stuff there, but at
Sure.
a bare minimum, the income has to be $5,413.
Yeah.
That is now your income. That is with minimal savings, minimal retirement, and really no cuts to the budget, honestly. Do you want to make cuts to the budget? Here's where her worries are.
Okay.
Okay, she's worried.
Worries or goals?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Okay. No savings.
They have no savings.
None at all. Okay. Ouch.
Red flag.
Red flag. If business slows, she's very stressed about business slowing down.
It will ebb and flow.
It will. And third, there's some tension on her working the books and him owning the business.
I was going to guess that.
I don't know what that tension is.
I've seen a lot of people do this where the wife will be running the books or something to help the business get up underway. But usually once the business makes it, that's usually one of the first things I see change.
They hire a bookkeeper.
Yeah.
So if you are doing well, I might just hire a bookkeeper.
If for nothing else.
For the sake of your marriage.
Save your marriage.
Here's what I'll say about working together as spouses. I think each person has to have extremely clear responsibilities and you don't encroach.
You advise it and you work together as a team, but you don't nag and you don't.
Right. So he's the home builder, so she's not nagging him about the subs he's hiring.
Right.
Okay. Or the schedule.
Right.
And she's running the books, which means he trusts her to run the books and he doesn't backseat drive on the books. Okay. That's the only way this works. If it's too stressful, I'm going to say hire a bookkeeper.
Confidence. It's got to be, you have to be on the same team and confident and trusting of one another.
So with all these changes, I would recommend saving your business needs an emergency fund and your personal needs an emergency fund. Now, I don't know what their business makes, but I would hope
their business is making at least $10,000 a month.
Oh, I was going to go, they better be making $500,000 a year in a home building business, minimum. What would you put, 3 months of expenses in the business? You figure out whatever that is.
If you can, that would be awesome.
And you need 1 month minimum of personal emergency fund, 1 month of bills.
So we're going back to what we were talking about earlier when I was saying the confidence that comes from having these things prepaid.
Right.
She was mentioning to you that how stressful this can be because she's managing all this finances.
Right.
If they can have the emergency funds prepaid, pre-saved, it will even that out.
The stress goes down a lot.
And it will also reduce her reaction to that stress.
Right.
Because she will be confident, which will probably improve the way she treats or the way she responds to him in some of those cases. I'm just trying to say, if you know your own weaknesses, and she kind of did here, figure out how to plan against them.
I feel like you're saying that when I'm stressed about money, I act different.
I know I do. I'm not talking about you, actually. I'm talking about me.
I'm teasing myself a little bit because it's true. I do act different. Like when I'm stressed about something, I get more agitated easier with the people that I care about the most, which isn't fair to them. So what I'm trying to suggest and hopefully teach people sometimes is if you reduce your stress level by preparing a little bit, you act better.
Yeah.
You're a better spouse. Like I'm a better wife. I'm a better mom when I'm not stressed about money or like how I'm going to put gas in the car. That is very stressful to someone who manages all the money.
So what we're trying to do is help her meet her goal here by saying, get these organized into business family, get yourself an emergency fund. All of these things together will add up to increased confidence, which improves your performance and reactions to bad situations.
Or any situation, perhaps. So if we want to save as aggressively as possible, here's where the cuts come in.
Okay.
Because we're paying ourselves.
You had to go there, didn't you?
They have no savings.
It's not a budget breakdown for you unless you get a cut somewhere.
This is what I like to do. I just like to cut stuff. Listen, most people have very, very fluffy, luxurious budgets.
Yes.
They do.
This one's a little fluffy, but it's not bad.
It's not bad. It's not bad. But if you're like, oh my gosh, I need a savings, so if business does slow, I'm not freaking out.
Well, here's the fact. They're in startup mode.
Yeah.
It's a startup business.
Yes.
You need to get the business up and running and strong before you can have luxurious items on this side.
And guess what's luxurious? Restaurants are luxurious. I'm crossing that line item out. This is until you get an emergency fund.
And they might have one fast.
You might get it
if the business fast. Takes off, like the windfalls from owning a business can take off really quickly.
Christmas, birthday, bye-bye.
It was the second one I was going to say as well.
Bye-bye. Here's something that's super interesting. We just did a vacation, and some places are very expensive when it comes to restaurants and food in general.
Dude.
I took the whole family out for dinner for like I wanted them to have one really nice experience, okay? And It was...
And I took deep breaths.
And I told Dave not to look at the bill. And it was in excess of $200 for one meal. Dave wanted to take me out to dinner as a date night while we were there. So we went to the grocery store and got frozen pizza and a bag salad for the kids. It was $20.
Yeah.
The $20 fed the kids for the night. They were thrilled. They were like, sweet, movie night without the parents with their pizza and bag salad kit. And Dave and I went out to dinner. Like, you take the $200 from one meal versus the $20, that wasn't even cooking. That was like throw a pizza in the oven. Eating out is so expensive.
If we hadn't watched it, it would be so easy to spend $500 a day eating out.
We could have, but we were careful and we planned out well. We didn't. Eating out is a luxury.
It's an absolute luxury.
Okay, I also cut birthdays and Christmas, which seems very heartless, I understand. But this is temporary.
Right.
This is temporary. Kids actually need a lot less stuff than you think they do. There's been studies that have proven that.
So you've only cut out right now about $600.
Yeah, because I cut the prescriptions. I cut $600. Let's go to food.
Yeah.
They're in Texas. Texas is low cost as far as food goes. I'm from there. I'm very familiar with all the cities.
You can cut 200 more off that?
We can go 400 on the food.
So now we've cut $800 out of the budget.
Correct. So let's say that we change the salary to $6,000.
And then if you cut 600, sorry, what did I say, 800?
I cut 800 and I bumped the salary up 600. That's $1,200 a month I can now throw into a savings account.
That's exactly right.
That's still going to take like 5 months, 6 months.
So their living needs per month, we've cut down to $4,800 a month. Sorry?
No, another 200.
I did that wrong.
46.
$4,600 a month. And then you bumped up their salary for the household to $6,000.
To $6,000. That's $1,400.
$1,400 a month that you've created in savings for them to create an emergency fund for the family.
Correct.
And that is really meant to cover the house, cover house payments in case business doesn't go well, hopefully pay off the car.
The car's gonna be gone in a year anyway.
Well, yeah, that's the crazy thing is if they start to do that and just threw some of that money, well, I wouldn't throw the emergency fund at the car.
No, I wouldn't either.
Get the emergency fund first.
So if they did this exact thing, in 4 months, they have an emergency fund of $5,600.
Okay.
In 4 months. In 8 months, they have $11,000 in an emergency fund. Add this stuff back in. Add restaurants back in. Add Christmas back in. You could drop the income back down to the $5,400 instead of the $6,000, and now we're moving.
Well, and then you pay off the car sometime in the next year.
Yes.
Even if you take the last couple months of emergency fund and you throw it at that and get it done in 8 months instead of 12 months, whatever it is.
Right.
Pay it off a couple months early, then you've got $665 back.
Back in the budget.
As well.
Hallelujah.
So now the extra $1,400 a month we had
is $2,000.
Is $2,000.
And I hope at this point you're feeling much more confident.
Yeah.
Much more confident. I want to tell a short story to finish this off with. 12
to 18 months. I want to say 12 to 18 months. They've gone from not a terrible situation to way more confident, way more prepared for whatever might come at them.
It's the emotionalness of it. That's not a word. I said another word earlier today that was really weird. I just like to make up words. It's the emotional response of what I was given, which is very chaotic, not organized. Like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know how much money we have. Everything is stressful. Every purchase is stressful. Every need is stressful.
Right.
Okay. Combined with, I work hard, so I deserve a restaurant. Like, it's all chaos. And that feels chaotic in your heart and in your mind. And what we've done is organized it. And so now you're feeling in charge. You feel strength from the plan, and you can move forward, like you said, with confidence and in control. So your mind and your heart aren't feeling all crazy and stressed anymore. The stress should go down. Okay, I want to finish this one with a quick story of some friends of mine.
Okay.
We have some friends that we've known for almost 10 years, and they have a lot of children. They have seven children, college all the way down to toddler. And they're in education, which doesn't pay very much. And he got a PhD, which took a really long time, and then he graduated, and then, he had to pay for it after it was over. So their finances are tight, their income is not high. And for a period of time, I think it was a year, they sat all their kids down and they were like, look, it's real tight and we're gonna cut all extracurriculars. They cut everything.
They did.
Their kids did dance and band and
baseball.
They cut everything. And the mom was so amazing. She's one of my favorite people. She decided to teach her girls dance lessons because she was a dancer before. So she like made her own dance classes for the kids. And I don't really know what the boys did so much. I don't know if you know what the boys did. I just talked to her a little bit more than the husband. But I know that they were kind of all in it together to achieve a financial goal when the income was low or the bills were high or both. All those kids, the second they're 15, they go work.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of them. They work at Burger King, they work at Five Guys. There are places that will hire at 15 as long as they don't interact with customers.
Yeah, and I think the cool thing for me to watch is they did come together really nicely as a family to meet a goal. So it's not the like dream life that some people dream up. This financial thing is not sexy or anything, but I think those kids learned a lot. Their family is very close. Because they achieved a goal together.
So I'm saying it can be done.
Can be.
Teenagers don't always rebel. Give them more credit. You know, they're good kids, most of them. Any last final words, Dave?
I love what you did here. You actually took a lot of chaos and put order to it. And it gives a lot more... I think I've used the word control maybe a little bit, or in confidence too much. But it was a little out of control.
Yes.
Their spending wasn't crazy out of control.
No.
It just wasn't done logically and informed with data.
Okay.
And I think that's what we've done here is like, let's just clean it all up and then make informed decisions. Because there was a lot that we don't know. Like, we really don't know what all of this stuff as far as activities and the unknown budget costs. We don't know what the income actually is. But if we can get the data behind all those things and get the numbers figured out, there's not a whole lot else to control other than figure out where the money is and what we actually have so that we can make new informed goals.
Right. My last words of advice are, please use a CPA when you do your taxes.
Yeah.
Keep all your receipts. And when you own a business, I actually think hiring a tax planner, which is not the same thing as a CPA, is really advantageous. They can give you quality professional advice to help you in this process of a new business, and hire a bookkeeper as soon as possible.
Consider it the cost of doing business.
It is the cost of doing business. Sometimes you just have to pay for those professional services, and they are worth it.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're gonna leave it there, and good luck to you.
Let us know how it goes.
Yeah.